Yang Gang, thank you for coming to my channel. First things first, please subscribe. We have a lot of movements going on to help push Yang to where he needs to be. So go ahead and subscribe so that when I find out, you find out. All right. And if you hear anything, put it in my comments. Let me know because I'm here for it. All right, so this video is about the media bias, which has officially been confirmed with MSNBC. I always thought it was weird that only Fox was giving consistent coverage to Yang. Now, Fox is notoriously known for siding and aligning with the Republicans, so I thought it was weird. But it only backs up Andrew Yang's claim that he can reach across the aisle and grab more demographics than anybody else, and I agree with it. In this interview, which I will put down below, MSNBC commentators start off talking about the polls. Start talking, of course, about Joe Biden being at the top and yada, yada, yada. But around 4 minutes and 48 seconds, they start calling out Yang. They say, even Yang, you're losing to Yang when they're talking about Trump. Because the polls are showing Andrew Yang beating Trump. Second to only Biden, which is good. We're doing another video about that later. The guy continues, he says this 3 times in a row, and then the guy continues to say, the guy who wants to give whatever you want, 5,000, here you go. It's crazy. Like, they didn't even try and hide it. They just sat there and they mocked him as if he wasn't a viable candidate. He was ridiculous. And there, right in there, it shows that they have bias. They think he's ridiculous. They don't believe in his ideals, and therefore they're just kind of burying him. It seems like the only time they bring him up is just to mock him or make fun of him, and the rest of the time they're just not even including him. They don't include him in the polls, none of that, unless it's to prove a point about someone else. So, in my personal opinion, here is a clear example of bias, a clear motivation for bias, and it's this right there proves why they're turning around and pretty much, making sure that he's blacked out. Hashtag Yang blacked out media. So pretty much they don't agree with what he's talking about, and they're trying to bury him. Shoot. Look, MSNBC, and CNN, DNC, all of y'all, you need to put this in perspective. I've heard since I started doing my YouTube, I have heard from people, and people have told me that if they don't vote for Yang and Yang doesn't become the candidate, they're voting for Trump. I've heard other people say that they were screwed over with Bernie last time, and if they get screwed over with Andrew Yang, they're not voting at all. And I think because you have this biased media, and these polls, I don't know where you get them from, but I don't feel like that they're reflecting the energy that's going around the country. There are movements going on, and somehow he's not even ranking at all. It makes no sense to me. And I feel like the media coverage is creating a narrative that he doesn't stand a chance, when in all actuality, there's a lot of people that are rallying behind Andrew Yang. He's not buying votes, which is pretty much the way they're painting him out to be, that he's buying out votes. People are, I've said it before, people are suffering right now. I've already broke down the minimum wage in another video. It's not enough to live on right now, and so many people are paying the bare minimum, which is leaving other people having to work extra jobs, juggling bill to bill, trying to push certain things back, trying to do whatever they can to make it work. Having bi-weekly paychecks on top of that makes it even harder, because it's you can't, like, say, hey, next week I got you, or I can put something on it next week. I know here with GRU, they give you a certain amount of time, and if it's before your paycheck, that's your problem. They don't care. So you on like there's not enough to get from one paycheck to the next paycheck, and it's ridiculous. This helps solve that. Okay? A lot of people don't have time to wait for 6 years for them to raise minimum wage. And what happens in that 6 years if these robots and machines start coming in and taking jobs? We're already seeing it at McDonald's. They now have things where you can go in and order for yourself. They just come up and call your number. So y'all are at risk. Walmart, they've already got things where you can go in and self scan yourself, and they keep expanding it. And further, they also have it to where you can go ahead, order everything, and just come and pick it up. So, I mean, you're already seeing in a lot of these positions that people, the average person, are slowly getting taken away. And if you wait for 6 years just to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, what's going to happen to all these people who are displaced in the meantime? I'm waiting. Exactly. The people that are denying that this is a threat, like Elizabeth Warren, which we'll get to in the next video, they're not looking into the future. They're not looking in advance. And that's the scary part. If we don't get ahead of the problem, it's going to be so much worse. And that's why we have to fight so hard to get Andrew Yang in. Because these people they're not caring. They are only worried about getting Trump out of the office. They're not worried about us. They're not worried about what we're going through. We get Biden, Lord Jesus, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Everything's going to pretty much remain the same. He's going to be fighting to get stuff done. The other people on the other side are going to fight back. They're going to stall it. Nothing's going to happen. He doesn't have the appeal to be able to reach over to the other side or work with the other side. Not to mention he's crotchety. I wouldn't work with him either, just because the way that he talks to people. It's ridiculous. But they're forecasting that he's going to go down, especially with this debate, with how he gets so confused, doesn't know what he's talking about, has no specifics, and he's crotchety. He's going to go down in flames, point blank, period. He is going to go down in flames. And that leaves us with Elizabeth Warren, who doesn't believe that that's a true threat. Therefore, she's not going to do anything to think about what's going to happen in the future when this starts happening. And if that happens, we're not even moving towards dealing with the problem. With Andrew Yang, we're starting off at $1,000. We might need to hike it up to even more, which I will do in another video. I know I keep saying this, but I have so many videos planned to do. But this is just the starting off. There could be incentives that are added in this. There's a whole evolution that could happen with the freedom dividend. However, if we don't get it started now, we're going to start it when it's too late. We're going to start it after people have been living in the streets. I mean, already, I know where I am, there are homeless people all over the place. We have a tent city, a whole city with hundreds of people that are living in tents out in the wooded area that's just set aside for them because we have so many. We have panhandlers on like every other street. It's ridiculous. It's frustrating because you're not trying to look out for the American people. You're trying to get Trump out. I agree that he is detrimental, but at this point in time, his ratings are horrible. You get the right person, aka Andrew Yang, sorry, I just spit a little, then you don't have to worry about that. And you can serve the American people. So if you are watching this, which probably not, I've only got like a few subscribers, but I mean, point blank, we got to get ahead of this. We got to get ahead. Even if this was a long way out, this is the perfect time to start it and then start coming up with incentives to start building people up, to prepare people for it. And as we slowly start making movements with the different technologies and creating jobs, you have ways to start training people beforehand so we can get ahead of it. We can be, the first country and we can start selling to other countries. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm not a political science major. I just started paying attention, to be real, with Bernie Sanders. I'm not deep into this. I'm learning, which is what I'm trying to do with this channel. As I learn, I want to share it with y'all, so we all know what's going on. I'm not working right now, so I have the time in between putting in applications, whereas in other people might have to work and they're tired when they come home. So you could just pop on the video and learn something new. But the last thing I want to say is everyone is copying Yang right now, which is to minimize his the fact that he's distinct, and especially Joe Biden. And it's disgusting, but it shows he is right. So you want to stick with the person who already thought of that. Last thing, everybody, we are trending. We're going to try and keep trending. Hashtag Trump fears Yang. Hashtag Yang beats Trump. And hashtag Google Andrew Yang. Do it as much as you can. We want to go trending. We're going into the debate, which is tomorrow night. So we want to give him every advantage that we can. Hit up all the moderators and let them know we want to hear Yang. We want to hear Yang. Hit up DNC, the DNC headquarters. Tell them we want to hear more from Yang because we deserve to know our options. Everybody have a great day. Thank you, and Yang Gang forever. Please subscribe.